And now let me introduce this new chapter regarding the interaction between roads and waterways. Okay, and the validation points are pretty short. Will be the geometry and the tagging for bridge and culverts, and the geometry and the attribution for faults that can be actually mapped either as nodes or as ways. If you have any doubt about that, again, you can go back to the OSM basics. Mapping topographic features. And there is a chapter about bridges, faults, and culverts. So guys, all of you already mapped a bridge. Fault is where there is no infrastructure. And when the waterway is not very large, it'd be just the fault mapped as the intersection between the roads and the waterways, and the intersection will have a fault equal yes tag. But if it's larger, at that, okay, that's this portion of the road can be considered as a fault, not just the intersection, but all that. And this is the full object that is, I mean, this portion, so a way and not just a node, that is tagged with the fault equal yes tag. And we try not to duplicate this tag on the intersection, because there's still an intersection with the waterways that needs to be created for the navigation purposes, I would say. Okay. And the same with the water bank. No question, no doubt about that?
I guess I'll add one, but whatever. It's probably not necessary, but ultimately, yeah, is there ever any really way to know? So obviously, for navigational purposes and things like that, it's been put as a forward. I'm assuming the only way to really verify that when the river is flowing, other than if you just happen to get lucky with imagery that you literally see a car passing that waterway to know whether or not it's actually passable once the river is flowing.
You mean, for example, in this case, that in this, for example, desertic environment, we can expect this to be dry most of the time, but when there is, yes, some floods, that's the largest riverbank we can have, and we are we based our mapping with the best imagery we can have, and in this case, we will consider the faults to be on the maximum width of the river, even if it's obviously it will occur maybe just a few days a year. I mean, that was your question.
More or less, yeah. I suppose that again, the point that you bring up is very valid. Yes, it's mostly a dry environment. I just mean that when the river actually has water in it and it's flowing, whether or not the ford is actually valid, it's just, yeah, you'd have to know and be there on the ground, I suppose, and make your own assessment at that point.
Yeah, but I must say you can have a ford when there is no permanent large river, because otherwise it's very likely you cannot cross it at all. It's quite rare to have a large permanent river that is not too deep to be crossed walking or driving. So yes, falls are generally they're more frequent if there's if the waterway is thin, okay, because it's still passable. I mean, even if it's like it's just a small stream, actually not a river. But if it's really a river and it's with a few tens meters width, I would say there is a fault if there is some high variation of the the water flow over the year. Otherwise, I mean, it would need a bridge.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Is there any other question? Something in the chat?
I guess maybe if you used other imagery to verify that the river is sometimes there, sometimes not, because obviously you can mark the river with seasonal and things like that to say that it's intermittent also. Because again, like you say, some falls on smaller sections of the river you'll be able to use year round pretty much, if they're like very small.
But yeah, I'm not sure in this environment we can catch the with the 3 or 4 imagery we have at our disposal. We'll have the one with the the running water. But in Somalia, like this, I think it's Somalia. It's really rare, actually. I mean, the water season seems to be quite limited over the year. Another question. There is an open microphone. I don't know if it's to talk. That's our last guest, Arena. I just shut your microphone. Okay, so let's go. What are the validation steps for the 3 objects? So the suggestion is this one, and there is this this message I was reading again. To allow the use of the search string in the last step, page or covered or for the modified, it's preferable to send the changes to the OSM server only at the end of the validation process. That's the only time I think I put that in the validation steps. Okay, so first I would run a validator analysis on the downloaded area. So maybe, I don't know if we will continue to my large area. Or I will take, no, maybe I will take a few, I don't know, something large so that I'm sure that, yes, it's in map now. Yes, it's map selected. I did not put that on ready for validation. That's a bit cumbersome. Okay, so I will have to do that. And yeah, it's not ideal. I thought it would be ready for validation again and not ready to map. That's something they should implement. So it's completely mapped. I would we'll try validate again. So I will just do this, submit. Is it? Oh, it's not even updating. Okay, this one I would just take 4 of them. Yes. Completely mapped. And the last one. Okay, so now I can select these 4. To be validated, this can be validated by same user mark task as mapped to pad imagery. Yes, okay. So after the training, I will do the process, so all of you would be able to do that. Okay. Let me access to it with the UN Mappers account, for example. Okay. So I hope I have a few mistakes here. That will be my working area. If I don't find many things, I would, as I did, download more a larger area, and just for the benefit of the training, so that you can see different different kind of mistakes, basically. So first, we run a JSON valid analysis on the download area. It was something that was not done yet, and the specific warnings of interest for us would be the one regarding the intersecting road and waterways. That means there is no intersection yet, okay? And there is also suspicious combinations of tags. Bridge equal yes, layer equal -1, it should be 1, and tunnel crevasse with layer equal 1 rather than -1. So let's run it here. And just one warning, crossing highways and waterways. So that's exactly the first one. So here we have the waterway and residential road. That for me is not a residential road. It's at least an unclassified one, because it connected villages. It's not purely residential. A residential highway is a street. It's not something that go as this one into the field. And so far there is no intersection. So they cross each other without any information. So there is obviously something lacking, and it's easy for the validator to be detected. So here we need to figure out what it is. Let me more space. Warning, okay. Sometimes it's better not to see the data and the validations. So we have this stream, crossing that. And we know that this region is full of culverts, okay? Just to be sure about the direction also. So this is 300 and 310. Yes, it's good. and it looks like it's pretty visible here. It's a bit less there. Yes, but from the shape of the contour lines, yes, that's it. Thing, we are in an environment where there is obviously there is the water running there, and they created this crop field that's highly humanized rural area. Okay, so it's not super visible here. I would say it doesn't look like a bridge. The culvert is not very visible, but I mean we have here and there, mostly here, something that looks like really like a stream. So I would expect this to be a culvert, even if we have more ones that are really more obvious. Specifically, I think with this large road, you remember last time, this one, I guess, like this, looks like there was more obvious one even. Yeah, that's this, the very large one that is quite obvious. Okay, so in my case, where is it? It has to be that, I would say this. We can see actually the road is a bit above. It looks to be slightly above the crop field, and I get there is something there. Okay, so for me, I would obviously create a culvert here. And -1. Okay, and so in this area, I think we are okay now. I want to validate again. There is nothing left. Okay, so we can go to the next step.